Welcome, Cock and Bull live as we speak. Evening shift, lighting horrible, anchor also quite terrible. But I've got some good news. I've cracked another thing. This is a new system that I've cracked. I want to share with everyone before we get Nishant to come on and discuss all things NBA and beyond. And that is, if you don't want to talk to someone who you haven't met for a long time because you're a little uncomfortable getting dragged into a conversation. Let's face it, we don't want to, talk about things when we meet people after 20 years. Most often happened to me just yesterday. Why don't you take the same line that's used on you, but with a higher note? I find that that's good enough. You don't have to have a conversation. For example, I met this guy, let's call him Sid because that's his name, after maybe 10 or 15 years. And he looked up to me and he said, "Hey, Cyrus, what's up?" And I just took the note higher. I said, "Sid, what's up?" And that's it. There was no, that was it. That was the overture. There was nothing more after that. Boom, gone. And I think he was happy. I felt I had made that connection, made him feel special, more special than he maybe felt about me. Maybe he felt bad that he didn't have a higher note to come back with at that point. So this is what I think you should do. This is something you must try with people. You don't have a conversation, give them that little more bow with a higher pitch and leave it there and just keep going. So the guy says, "Hello, man. How you doing? How you doing?" That's all you got to do. Boom. It's going to work. All right. With that gift, we start a show which is all about gifts. This show is all about giving. That's all we do. We give. And so did, I think, the Milwaukee, what are their full name? Braves or Buggers or something like that. Let's welcome Nishant Boorla on. Nishant has traveled the world just to understand basketball. He's going to tell us in detail about that. But you see the happy smile of Amit Doshi. It's like that young virgin bride who finally decided that, I'm going to get on with this marriage thing, and turned out it was a pretty good one. Silverie has no interest. He'll only look up after 5 minutes because we have to begin with. By the way, guys, my son, I think, is cheating. He's cheating on
Why?
football with basketball. They spent all these last few nights with these 17 finals watching because the timing was horrible, right? One
Uh-huh.
in the
Yeah,
morning,
yeah.
India, whatever. One, so I mean, he was up and discussing it threadbare. I was appalled. Not a mention of Liverpool or the FA Cup or the Euro Cup that just passed. It was all about some Greek Nigerian guy whose name I still can't pronounce, who was born somewhere
Giannis.
else and then plays somewhere else. And I think he should be the ambassador for humanity because nobody can tell who this guy is, where he comes from, and his name doesn't match his face. No racism here because he's pretty, the today as we speak. Amit has got offended and with that comment and just disappeared on us. So Nishant,
No,
you've
actually,
now taken offense.
I feel like it was
No,
you who
no.
froze, right?
Yeah, I think it was your internet.
Yeah, Cyrus, your
My
internet. My
internet!
internet don't freeze.
How dare you?
That's right.
My
How
internet can't
dare
freeze.
Geo? How can Geo do
Mumbai
this
has
to you
good.
after so much nonsense?
Yeah, I know
After
Mumbai,
my
all the
15
public
minute
transport in the world.
open, yeah, exactly. After that huge opening, just to take us
But
nowhere.
no, no. So
But
no, no.
guys,
It just froze for a second. But I'll just to address your point, right? Uh, it there is pretty much no other Eastern Conference team who I would have like been okay with winning, except for Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Right? I hate each and every other one of those teams. If the Nets would have won, I would have been depressed. If the
so why do
Hawks
you
would have
hate
won,
them?
I would have been depressed because I'm a Philadelphia 76ers fan, right? Who play in the East. And I would
So
have hated the Bucks as well. I hated the Bucks in 20 years ago. I hated the Bucks. But Giannis makes a difference. He's actually so much fun to watch. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just generally like, he comes across when you watch him on other stuff, right? He comes across as like just like I mean the nicest guy. It's just weird how nice he comes across as, and generally you don't see that in this kind of stuff, right? When people are playing this competitive, this big, he's generally people are not that nice.
I mean, let's get Nishant in. I feel that this is some sort of racism called geographism. I like the West Coast. I don't like the East Coast. What the hell? I mean, what is? I mean, we've divided this humanity to what degree now?
Nishant,
And that one
as a
Indian
70s,
guy born here, living in Delaware, and then he supports the Eastern something because,
yeah.
sorry, Western something, but only this one Eastern team. What the hell, man?
No, no,
What's
I
going
support the
on?
Philadelphia 76ers. Nishant, tell me, am I wrong? If I was a 76ers fan, how can I possibly support any other Eastern Conference team?
I'm still trying to fathom why you're a 76ers fan,
I was
but I
born
get
in
it. I get
Philadelphia.
your
I was born in Philly, guys.
And also, he was born in 1976. So you put it together, and boom,
no,
this
no.
is the
Yeah.
reason.
I get
Wow.
it. They were good
Okay.
back then. Like
Your math
Philadelphia has
is
a good
wrong, but
answer to
that's
give.
fine.
It makes you younger,
if you,
bro.
if,
Don't argue that point.
Yes,
If you
that's
were
true.
Priyanka Chopra, you
no,
would
but
immediately yes, thank you.
I get
Nishant,
what
you're
you're
the
saying though.
expert. What
So,
happened with
sure.
the Milwaukee Buggers versus the Phoenix Sisters? No offense to anyone, but we don't know enough about basketball. So me and Silvery will be like infants trying to
Yeah.
learn. Huh.
It was a good. See, I get what Amit is saying. As a as a fan of any other team, you'd be okay with these guys winning because they're the nice guys. It's a bit like Cyrus in football
New Zealand.
when Leicester, when Leicester won the
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
You're like, theek hai. Matlab, if not my team, good, nice, romantic story. It's something like that in Milwaukee because
Exactly.
they did it the right way. They built from scratch. They picked this kid up when nobody took a chance on him, and then he just transformed into a monster. So it's not this new age sports thing of assembling teams that win. They actually built organically. I think that's the narrative.
Yeah. That is a narrative. It's true narrative too. They
Just
did build
coming back to
organically.
the superstar, whatever he's called. Where's he exactly from? I was trying to research that a little bit before the show, and so he's Nigerian extract, Greek.
The Nigerian origin, but brought up in Greece. I think born in Nigeria, brought up in Greece.
Right.
He was a European. He was an immigrant to Greece, and he basically So I mean, like, and from Greece, he has now come to the US. I guess that's his life story.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't have papers. So
look at the Americans.
They don't have papers, right?
The amazing thing is, not one of us has even tried to pronounce his last name yet.
I tried.
Nishant, you got a lot of practice. You could probably go for it.
Yeah, I can do it. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Huh? He does sound a little Telugu. You're right, Nishant. It's got a certain 3-4 syllable touch to it. You have an advantage over us here. That's not fair.
There's a cool backstory here, Cyrus. So these guys were, his family were immigrants, right, from Nigeria to Greece, and I think they were illegal immigrants, so they didn't have papers. When he got scouted and he was called to the US for whatever the audition process and the draft, the government had to specially recognize this guy. I think that's just around about when they gave him his papers, and then he had to travel abroad. Something like that.
Wow.
Some cool
he didn't exist till they accepted the guy's got talent. America wants him. He's going to put Greece on the map. Ouch.
That didn't exist.
Sitsi Pass, you suck. What's going on? The biggest star now. I guess they'll claim him, of course, now.
Of course.
Everybody claims him, right? I mean, like, of course, all of Africa will claim him, not just Nigeria, right? Because again, he's from there. And all of Europe will also claim him, not just Greece.
You're claiming him. Yeah. I heard my son and the boys talking on because they talk so loudly and talking about him with such reverence and mentioning, and then they went into some argument, of course, which will upset you about whether Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Shaquille, who's the best, and something about if Shaq had made all his free throws, he'd be the greatest of all time. And they put this guy in that conversation, and I thought that was like, he's a new kid on the block, whatever, but that was quite surprising because the Lord James, King James, whatever his name is, Shaq's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
He's so it's interesting, right, in terms of like the way that this final played out, right, and the way that he played in this final particularly, right? I mean, like 3 40-point games. Last game was 50 points. I mean, he was apparently, and it looked like in the previous series like he was not going to play again because he hurt his leg so badly, his knee bent in the wrong direction. Right. So it looked like he was not going to play at all from there going forward. And he came back and he had this kind of insanely incredible series. It was great. Yeah. And you know what? You know who really did enjoy it, though? There was one really cool thing about this whole thing, right? So in Milwaukee, the stadium itself, the arena, if you will, right? It's an indoor arena. 25,000 odd people can fit into most of these arenas, right? But they have this thing called the Deer District, which is right outside the stadium. 65,000 people were watching the match over there. And I mean, like, while watching the game, it's like, it is unbelievable. Imagine in Bombay, I mean, like, it makes the Kumbh Mela look uncrowded.
Are you comparing 65,000 Americans having fun with beer in their hands to the gathering of Silverie, me, and a few others at the Kumbh Mela? I don't think it's quite the same example.
But let me tell you,
but we in India know how to celebrate. I don't know about the NBA, but if it was a World Cup victory, we'd have more on the streets. I don't want to say we are bigger than them and all that, but we'll have more on the streets.
But think of this. So what makes this amazing? Milwaukee is one of the 5 smallest markets that exist in the NBA. Right? They're one of the tiniest cities of all the cities that are there. They're one of the smallest cities. So I mean, like, for them to have this huge crowd coming out was incredible. I mean, like, it was. Sorry.
What about COVID?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. What about it?
What about COVID? Fuck COVID.
They've been saying that for a year now.
I can't believe you, Amit. After screaming and shouting, you racist geographist, you screamed at my poor Kumbh Mela friends in Uttarakhand for gathering and showering together and sharing.
Dude, I mean, like, no, but again, the vaccinations are much higher over there now in the US compared to India.
Bullshit. When it comes to basketball, all things are on go. I can tell.
But dude, they didn't do it for the longest time.
Empty arenas. Yeah, they had empty
Yeah, they
arenas
had
for a while.
for
With
a
the
long
release
Yeah,
time.
they
back
did.
in. Yeah, yeah.
And generally for most of the arenas, see, I don't know that this is the case for outdoors because you can't really control outdoors, but in most of the arenas, they required vaccination certificates too, right? So
Okay,
I
let's
mean,
get
like,
back to the basketball for a second, which is what 4-2, right?
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
Bucks in
Finals.
6. I
So
think
would you
that
say
was
it
the
was
slogan.
because they lost the first two? Just correct me if
They
I'm
lost the
wrong.
last two. They
That's
lost
right.
the
And I
last
mean
That's
two.
right.
that's a rare
That's right.
thing, right? I'm trying to think in football or cricket is like coming back from three down in first
Yeah,
half
The
and then
odds
4-3
are, I
after that.
think, some
it
50, I think 60% of the times you lose, or 60 or
yeah.
70% of the time you lose if you drop the first two games. But yeah, the
It's
odds
not
were against them.
unheard of, right? I mean, like it's not unheard
Yeah,
of the way that 3-1 losing from down 3-1, which happens like 5 times in the last like 10 years, or
yeah.
not 5 times, but 3 times in the last 10 years that happened, and that was unheard of, right? It's not unheard of like that, but at the same time, it's an
No, but it
accomplishment.
again speaks of our unpronounceable superhero, which is that he
Yes.
seems to be the
Yeah,
guy who turns it on when the chips are down. They say that about the great sportsmen. They really just
yeah,
they don't play otherwise. They
But
need that. They need
see,
almost
the
to be
thing is
challenged
that
completely.
prior to this year, and Nishant, you can jump in if you think I'm wrong here, right? But prior to this year, his reputation was that that wasn't what he was.
he
He
doesn't.
No,
Yeah.
wasn't the guy who could do that. This is the first time he did it, and he did
it
it
was a
like in
choker.
a yeah. Choker is
Well, not
strong, but
Stoke. Yeah, I think the thing was so this guy has ridiculous height and strength and athleticism, right? That's his thing, 6'11", all that. But
Wow.
can't shoot. Now the game has become a game where everyone launches shots from wherever on the court. He can't do that. You get him near the rim, he will murder, right? So the Giannis stopper formula, as we spoke about on our shows, was people would just wall off all access to the rim. See, you're not running at us because once that starts, it's over. It's like a locomotive thing coming at you. So they just walled off the area and said, you shoot or you pass, you do whatever, but you're not coming near the basket. And that worked because he didn't have any other skills in his arsenal. What he developed then was A, the right squad around him, B, the willingness to involve others more, like trust people in high pressure moments, which everyone goes through this journey, right? Jordan had to learn, Kobe had to learn, and he had to learn to distribute. And then he added a whole bunch of moves, which now he's damn near unstoppable because he dribbles like a 6-footer, dunks like a 6'11" guy. It's too much now.
So just to
I,
understand for the infants here, he was more of a solo specialist with a certain amount of skills, and he's come back with
Yeah.
a more all-round, well-honed sort of performance,
I
Yep.
which
I think
involves the team.
I would agree with that.
Silvery, you've
Yeah, that's
said
pretty much
nothing.
it.
Huh? It's like taking
I
a homosexual to a heterosexual orgy. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with you here. Honestly, are
Or
you
to
driving
a
us
Raj
mad?
Kundra production studio.
yeah, I don't understand.
Hey, he's not guilty
Hey,
yet,
good
Nishant.
with the segue. Well
Yeah,
done.
he's not guilty yet. Hey, come on. We don't know for sure.
I,
It could be a
I don't
setup.
know.
There's all kinds of stories.
Alleged. Alleged.
Alleged, alleged.
Nishant Boorla, professional podcaster, understands segueing.
Not only does he understand segueing, but I want to give Silvery the premise now to open up just like our Greek hero, Nigerian Greek hero, and
Yes.
develop more skills. So we give him a
Antariksh,
topic.
expound on pornography for us.
There you go, a topic close to his let's say heart.
Okay,
There is
so
this whole topic.
so
This
there
whole
is this
topic
some
is so risky. You say open up, I'm thinking, what are we
I,
talking about?
I know. But once you start, you don't stop. Again, that's also pornographic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You must stop. You must stop. Hey, guys, should we just do this for 10 minutes like four stupid adult males? Let's see how many people say on the show. Yeah. And the funny thing is when people are discussing poor Raj Kundra, and I'm saying poor Raj Kundra because the jokes are not going to stop whether he's guilty or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody, all the men I've spoken to about this, every single male has a smile. It's almost made them happy. I can't explain this. I'll be like, Raj Kundra, look at us. Look at Silvery right now. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, bro. You tell us.
Okay, so this Raj Kundra thing, basically what is happening is within the last 4 days, in the last 3, 4 days, he's gotten arrested and he's still in judicial custody till 23rd of this month because on the case of creating and distributing pornography. And mainly what is being accused of is that he had this app called Hot Shots, which apparently he's supposed to have sold in the year 2019. But they're saying that he got payments from the app till the year 2021. And this app basically has since been removed from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store because of its content, which is basically like these kind of like not porn, but like softcore and like really revealing kind of videos, like really sultry kind of
Just to
stuff.
pick at it threadbare, when you say softcore, naked women are
So-
involved or non-naked women?
Mostly
us a
they're,
reel for
they're
5
not
minutes
exactly
to the
naked,
audience?
not
I
fully
understand.
naked.
But
Actually, I
it's
haven't
not
seen the
fully
video.
naked.
I haven't seen the videos.
I
I
have
imagine
female relatives
softcore.
who walk around in towels and all that, and that's not exactly, I mean, so far
Yeah.
away from soft porn. Yeah.
Also, though, if you remember, like in February of this year, just a couple of months back, we had partially brought up in Mud Island. There was these people who got caught who were like supposedly shooting these scenes in Mud Island. They have been in this apparently related to this as well, and this is how part of what got Raj Kundra caught was those people getting caught. Apparently, is what they're saying.
I also shot lots in Mud Island. I must tell you, not hardcore or softcore. Somewhere in the middle, I presume. Yeah. In fact, no women on the set ever. So just to understand, so it's not really hardcore, what's it called, penetrative sexual films. It's
there's no intercourse, apparently. Yeah, apparently there's no intercourse.
So it's like my dicks.
That's the lawyer's defense. Raj Kundra's lawyer's defense is also exactly that, saying if it's not intercourse, then it's not porn.
One time, squat champion of India, powerlifter, 600 pounds, bump to floor, without any supplementation. Pure genetics. Get back on track, Silverie. What are we talking about?
Okay. I have no idea what you just said right there.
His lawyer's Abad. We'll get him on the show. Abad is the son of the legendary Freni Ponda, who was the first Supreme Court lawyer, female.
Okay.
And huge name. And he's also a huge name. And it's another story for another day, but we must get him on. He's fabulous. And so he's taking care of this case at the moment. And so hopefully, hopefully in the sense that I just feel that the crime is not that bad. I'm sorry. I know that some girls have level charges and all this. So let's see what really happens. But I always think that pornographers, they don't appear to be as evil as some other people in the world. So I'm sorry to say that, but yeah, I mean, go on.
I guess, I mean, there's a real question over there, right? I mean, like in the sense that, so the allegation, right, is basically trickery or like, kind of like forcing people into this or something like that, right? And that's a different thing, right? If that's the case, then that's like all like, throw all the books in the world, right? But if that is not the case, then I mean, like it's a little, and honestly, I feel like we're making a distinction here. Porn, no porn, porn, no porn. We're talking about that kind of stuff a lot. Kind of shouldn't matter. Really, honestly, shouldn't matter, right?
If everyone was in agreement, then everyone was in agreement, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a consent thing, right? If there is if everybody who is doing it has done it with knowing what they're doing, with their eyes open, without being tricked into anything, then I mean, like it's nonsense that it's
no, with their eyes open is optional.
Well, yeah, eyes open is optional. Also, sometimes eyes do close when things happen, but yes, I understand that.
Okay, guys, just carry on. We don't have light, but this is obviously Raj Kundra's arms are longer than the law.
Has this happened every Thursday? Does your dog freak out every Thursday?
Man, all the other dogs no, it's not Thursday, it's an everyday thing, guys. We're living in now my daughter's come for the rescue, but it's a bit late because as you can see, I'm like Moses trying to cross the sea and
you'll have to slightly lower your camera as well if possible. If you can.
You think that's the problem, Silverie? That's the problem. Anyway, so consent is the big issue here, fair enough. But he's been caught under the pornographic whatever act. You can't distribute pornography basically through some, apparently, allegedly through the brother-in-law's company in England. Okay? And it's a pay-per-view business apparently there as well. Which if it's softcore, coming back, I know it's not important to the point, but if it's softcore, why are you paying for it?
Because no sense. It's weird. I don't understand any of this stuff in that sense, right? But it's just the freedom of speech issues are the things that interest me over here, right? More than anything else, it's a question of why is somebody like India's always had this kind of weird kind of thing, right? Porn is legal to consume but illegal to produce. It's a weird kind of dichotomy, if you will, right? I mean, like, if it's legal to and can I also say this, and I mean there's a mild racism to this whole thing, because it's like, as long as it is like those outside people whose porn is coming to us, it's fine, but it cannot be our inside people whose porn.
It's like the Indian cow. You cannot hurt the Indian cow.
I was just going to say that.
So
I was going to say, Cyrus, I was going to say it's the reverse of the Indian cow. Pure production is allowed, consumption is not allowed. It's kind of the other way around. You send it out, we don't care. You can't consume.
Sorry, but Nishant, I want to just point out here for the record that I've done everything in entertainment. I thought about everything from puppet shows to circuses to shows on the sea, on a boat, to all kinds of films, commercial, parallel, television. The only thing I've not done is pornography, and I really regret that I don't have that on my show reel. I mean,
but there's still time.
Sorry?
There's still time. Yeah, you're in like really good shape.
Every weekend I go to Mud Island and I wait for someone to approach. I'm sitting there and some girl called Shailin passes and some other girl Poonam passes and I don't know what's going on, man. Not a
You
word.
know
So
the names.
this guy basically made what? Like the old, that desi stuff of people just rubbing against each other. That's all he did, right?
I'm
I
sure it's really not worth watching.
I'm damn sure.
The only people who watch it are the police, I think, and maybe the relatives of these people who are involved saying, "Oh my God, that doesn't make any sense."
Yeah, we used to say this about desi porn, right? It's just, if A, it's not porn. B, it's a whole lot of friction, not a lot of diction, right? Nobody talks. People are just,
Ooh, a whole lot of friction, not a lot of diction. Let me write that
uh
down. That's a good one. Yeah, yeah.
nobody talks, right? It's just people rubbing against each other.
Okay,
There's nothing else
just
happening.
one more. I don't know if it's the correct way to look at it, but is it possible it could be extortion by the cops as well?
I
In some
think
way or
that's
form.
one possibility. I think the other possibility is, dude, when bad shit happens for the government, all of a sudden Bollywood stuff is in the news, right?
Always
Hmm. Yeah.
seems to be.
Sushant Singh Rajput was apparently murdered when bad shit was happening a few months
Yeah,
ago. Right
yeah.
now, bad shit is happening in the news, and this stuff is coming out. I don't like doing conspiracies. I hate
I know. I was
conspiracies.
about to say. I was about to say. After 700 episodes, you finally
Yeah,
changed. We've converted you, and now you're one of those
I,
gossipy girls
I,
from Walkeshwar.
I,
But this
Ah,
could
I,
easily, yeah,
I,
this could easily be
I,
plausible. You're right. Yeah.
I hate the idea of conspiracies. You know that, but at the same
see
time,
that
I'm just like,
it he's
it
had a few
seems like
failed businesses like MMA and this and that, restaurants or whatever. But it also doesn't make sense. Maybe he was just trying to help somebody out, put some money in it. Those things make more sense.
no, dude. The
Financially, I'm
money.
saying if
Did you see the WhatsApp chats? The money is big in this, dude.
the
You're,
money's
you,
big
you, you're
in the
talking about like
business,
$100,000 a day. No,
but is that really
that's what the
true?
Damn.
kind that's what the kind of money that they were grossing, dude.
So why
Yeah,
aren't
they're
we
saying
doing something like
100.
that, Amit? We're sitting
Well,
two bald men and two out of work actors hanging around on a bloody format talking about NBA.
because nobody's paying us $100,000 a day for that.
I'll rub Silverie. Silverie's your mom listening? Please tell me your mom's not listening. This is the point when you
Uh,
have to say your mother is not listening. And
no,
why the
I
hell?
hope she's not. I really don't know. It's possible she is.
Honestly, I'm damn
I really
sorry.
hope she's not.
Comedy के लिए हम लोग कुछ भी करते हैं.
Uh,
It's just that. It's
yeah.
nothing more. I'm that creepy old uncle they warned you about. All right, sorry.
Uh,
Yeah, so nobody thinks that the police could be just extorting and there's some sort of fallen.
but
Uh,
then, I mean, like, once the name is out, then what extortion is left? Now, what you're going to extort him?
no, that's
You're going
because
to
you don't
extort
pay,
him?
right? Then they teach you a
Yeah, but I
lesson.
mean,
The
like,
Parambir
it's
Rodnop story was similar.
so. I mean, like a blackmail. So there are challenges around blackmail in that sense, right? That
Blackmail. You're looking at one. Yeah.
Huh? No, but that's the challenge of blackmail, right? That I mean, like once if you're blackmailing somebody, the threat is what matters, right? If you actually go ahead and do it, then there's no blackmail left. It's that tension of the threat, right?
You
Which
do.
is the same thing here.
You have to carry out the threat so the next person complies, right? Isn't that the mafia way? I
But
mean,
well, that might be true. But do you think that we have a preponderance of pornography producers in this country who are waiting to get caught like this?
oh,
No, it's
let me
not
tell
just
you,
porn.
you're talking about Desi
Yeah,
porn, Nishant. Not that I'm a connoisseur and I watch all this, but it's come a long way, huh? It's come a long
it
way. Okay,
has.
chalo, I watch it.
But they are
It's
saying
well
there's
shot
another
and all
app
sometimes.
now. They're saying there is another app now called New Flicks that has also come under the radar because of this investigation also. So which
Okay.
is also like a similar kind of app. So
I
I'm
feel like
saying
they
like
missed
there's
an
possible.
opportunity. But Antariksh, shouldn't they have called it? Nodeflix was right there, man. It was sitting there and they went for new
Yeah,
flicks.
I think they can't be that obvious. That's the thing. They have to be like a little like
Google
not
won't give you
so obvious.
approval in the Play Store, no?
Oh yeah, that's yeah,
Oh,
true.
that's there. Yeah, that's there. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Damn it, Google.
So I think that's possible that there are apps like this that most of us never even hear about, but they're there like 10, 15 apps is very possible are there in the country that are doing the same thing.
But also, listen, the government is amazing in their like their inability to kind of understand for basically unintended effects, right? Or to kind of
Mm.
plan for unintended effects. Let me give you a straight model here. Our government decided to ban PUBG in March.
Yep.
PUBG is the game which most kids in this country are super hyper addicted to, right?
Mm.
All of them learned how to sideload a game. When you learn how to
Yeah.
sideload, all of a sudden everything is open to you in the world. Because
Yep.
by sideloading, what I mean is that basically installing apps not from the Play Store, but by installing apps by going to these random sites and stuff like that. Maybe a random site, maybe like down somebody's emailing you an APK, but they all learned how to do this. Now all the porn sites in the world are also open to people
So it's
because all
like
the porn apps
alcohol.
are
You can't really
available.
ban it. It just goes underground and carries on.
Yeah, no,
Pretty
it's not
much.
just that, right? It's that basically incentivized everybody to learn how to do this. While PUBG was available in the Play Store, nobody learned how to sideload. Sideloading in the last year in India on Android has become a huge thing. It was not before.
Question:
Yes.
do you sideload?
I have sideloaded apps occasionally because I beta test quite a bit.
Okay.
You
Hey,
betrayed
listen,
the industry.
I'm the straight man.
You're a
I
part
will
of.
answer the answer
High-tech guy.
exactly right.
Sorry, you're a part of beta testing apps.
Yeah, I beta test
So
a
he
bunch of
says.
apps.
Yeah, I do too.
Wow.
I mean, anyone can do
What
it. You can
kind
just
of
sign
app?
up.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. You just
Oh,
say
just
you sign up for the beta thing. And then
Oh, okay.
it's not exactly like anything like huge or anything like that. Also, our own app was under development for how long, right? So I mean, like how many times I had to I got to test that out all the time. So that comes through sideloading.
Okay.
All right, guys, 6:26. We can squeeze in one
Yes.
more topic, I think, before the break. Although I wanted
Okay.
to play with my light, to use a phrase.
Okay. Cool. So we'll do the smaller topic first because we'll the main juicy topic we'll say for the after the break. The next thing is Jeff Bezos just made it to space and back on his Blue Origin spacecraft. And yeah, it was actually like a pretty cool affair. Within 10 minutes, it was done. Also 10, 15 minutes, I think max. He was on the ground, and it seemed fine. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I know. They say one of the problems when you go into space is you may lose your hair. Luckily for him, that wasn't much of an issue when he came back. But I got to tell you, I watched it. For 2 minutes, you get a little scared, huh? Because ultimately, no matter what you know about science and all that, there's always the odd failure rate. And what do you think, guys? Did you feel a little worried just for a little while? Well, they had that cooling off period. You know, he comes down, he stays in. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, listen, it's risky to go to space. I mean, what else can you say about that, right?
It's risky to go to the terrace. Have you seen the repair work in my building? Forget space. Those guys have a lot of guts, really. But then again, just think of it. If you're one of the richest men in the world, this is your thing. He came out saying it was the best day of his life. I think Nishant had a nice spin to that.
No.
Best day ever.
So I was saying if it tops his divorce, it must have been something.
There you go. It was
Sorry,
close,
Jeff,
Nishant. It was clearly close, but it did in the end. Would you do it, Amit, if you had the money?
What?
I mean, if you're
Go
him,
to space?
you're gonna have that.
Yeah, that's how we lost our hair. That's how Amit and I lost our hair. We just
Nishant, you do it.
don't like to brag.
You do it, Nishant.
Absolutely.
Like Silverie said, 10-15 minutes and it's done. I mean, it's worse than most people Suhagra.
It almost seems like after coming down, you have to act as if it was a life-changing experience, but it wasn't really.
You better. You spent all that money.
Like you spent all that money. It does seem like that to me. I mean, how much can you really appreciate in like whatever a few seconds that you were in space?
I mean, but why not, right? Like the duration of it all is shorter than an average alleged Mud Island production. And then,
much more expensive.
Sure. So as it was. See, Amit and I have nothing to lose. We're good.
The rocket is also quite phallic. So I get a lot of your metaphors now. Nishant, I know where your mind is heading. Yeah.
I was struggling to not say that, but there you go.
And you have to come quickly because 15 minutes you're back as far as we know.
No, the opportunities are aplenty, Cyrus. When Antariksh was doing the segue, he said we'll start with the smaller one first.
We've just lost the sponsor. Take that in your rocket ship, man.
Hey, we might as well go for it then, right? Because when Antariksh said we'll do the smaller one first, I'm like, that's the warm up in the model.
There you go.
You do the smaller one first. All right, that's it. That's my time, guys. Thank you.
What did you guys?
I was hoping you wouldn't point when you said smaller one. I was worried about that.
What do you guys think was a cooler flight, like a more impressive flight? Was it Jeff Bezos's or was it Richard Branson's?
Yeah, but he did it first. So that for me that makes a little bit of a I mean, he did it first. It's now you're the second guy to do it. So I give him 2 points for that.
I don't think that being first matters like when you're talking about this kind of stuff, does it?
Yeah. I don't think.
No, Amit, it's like they, how this in sports, in any sport, but let's say basketball, when you have these MVP debates, now it's not just about who's won more. Then it's but this guy did it, this guy did that. So then here you're going to say, Branson did it first, but then somebody will say, no, but Bezos was fully automated. They didn't require anyone to fly, and then he went further. It was a long
exactly. That's why it's all the same. Like,
Bezos didn't wear the seatbelt, for example. A few things here and there, which will come to light. But I don't know. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, there's always a debate. Was Edison really the first person to invent the light bulb, or was he the first person to patent it?
Right.
Right. The question
was like a Steve Jobs. He got people to do things. Yeah.
No, because I was listening to I think it was a Tim Harford podcast, right? And they were talking. It's 100 inventions that changed the world. Great podcast if you haven't heard it. But the light bulb is one of the inventions that changed the world. Yes, Cyrus, what's the joke?
Air condition is there, right?
Air conditioning is there. Yes, it actually is
There's
there.
no air condition. I want this guy shot.
The name of the person who invented air conditioning is John Carrier.
Yeah, the carrier air
Yeah,
condition. He's my
the
favorite
Carrier air
human being
conditioner. Correct.
after
Yes.
Christ. Like it's very
Yes.
close.
Air
My two
conditioning is there.
favorites. Yeah.
Air
And then there's
conditioning.
Raj Kundra. So three of them. They're my three
Okay.
favorites. Yeah.
But no, but again, like the point of the podcast was that all of the things that were needed for the light bulb were things that we were starting to see anyway. So there were a bunch of people who were thinking of how they could kind of use it, right? Electricity had started being deployed. There were people who started understanding the concept of resistance in electrical, like basically the concept of resistance through metal. Glass had started being, you could start mass manufacturing glass to that degree of thinness. So all of these different components that you needed to be able to kind of do a
Amit,
light bulb.
we've gone from phallic repertoire to now a friggin' lecture in physics, which is so irritating that
Okay, all
I think the
right,
two people behind me have just walked out. I mean,
all
we
right.
cannot
I'm
let you
gonna
lose
stop.
for more than 1 minute.
No,
Nishant, say
he,
I
something.
will.
no, he
Mention
started
Milwaukee.
with
Say
no, no, he started with I want to talk about something for freedom of speech, like a proper revolution, and then he went to
yeah.
like the industrial revolution. कि हम glass बनाते हैं, tungsten भी है हमारे पास.
नहीं, सबके पास जानकारी था, but he somehow or the other was the first. Isn't that your point, basically?
That's the point.
That
Yeah.
it was close to everybody, and then
These things are close to inevitable. Big inventions are close to inevitable when they occur.
Right.
The Alan Turing computer, right? It was close to inevitable at that point in time that somebody would create a computer of that nature. The microprocessor developed by Intel, when they developed it, it was inevitable that it would happen at some point close to that time, whether it was Intel or somebody else. So I think that's just the
And for
way
the
that
tech
these big
challenge,
inventions.
a better example would be that if you're in Mud Island, it's only close to inevitable that sooner or later you'll be involved in soft core productions
Something is
and
going
you'll
to
have
Yeah.
happen.
fun.
Correct.
Yeah.
Something is going to happen. Somebody is going to come and find you on the beach and ask you some questions.
They don't really shoot on the beach. They have these
No, no, but
bungalows. I've been there.
but the bungalows are attached to the beach, and that's how they cast now by going to the beach. I'm
No,
assuming.
yeah, the MO was he would like apparently have like a either like a video call or something with like supposed actresses and tell them to supposedly like disclose or something. Disrobe, sorry.
Ooh, son of
Yeah.
a B-E.
Part of audition. That was the
Yeah,
audition
yeah,
call,
yeah.
apparently.
Oh, sorry, Nishant, you were going for it. Like he said, we all had the same, and then I went first. I'm the Edison of bad humor,
Yes,
as far as we're
absolutely.
concerned.
I'm the inventor. You're the one that the go-to
I
market
just
is
took the
on you.
glory, like Edison. Apparently, he hogged a lot of the limelight. So, shall we take a fake break? So that
Yes,
rhymes.
please.
Let's
Fake
take
break.
the fake break.
Take break.
Okay, fake
Let's
break
do
is
it.
done, and we are back now with
Wait, do
some
we
rip
need to
roaring.
one sec? Do we need to do an ad read? Don't we have a Takshashila ad read?
Oh no, that's already done. We
It's already done. Okay.
yes, Sanjeev said it's not required for the live.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Keep going, keep going. I've just got a
No, that's
message
fine.
from the same
Yeah.
production company, Mud Island. They want to know if I'm interested in doing a guest appearance or is it disappearance? I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah.
So how does this work, Cyrus? If you're a guest, do you just come and go? You don't stay for the entire thing.
Well, you set up the thing. Let's
What
say
was
people are
the-
at it, and you're involved as a catalyst, and then you sort of So you're not when the judgment is passed, you're not really guilty in the sense that the others are.
So you want
So
to do
you're
like
like a driver of the getaway car. You're not the guys who
Right.
actually rob the bank. It's like that.
Right,
So
got
you
it.
want to do
In and
kind
out
of like
quickly, just
Sorry.
kind of like
Question.
like
It's
what
like a press conference. One at a time. Yes, Times of India first. Yes, tell me.
kind of like what Joey did on that episode of Friends. There I am, and there I am, and there I am, and there I am,
The
and there I
butt
am.
one.
Yeah, the butt one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly like that.
yeah.
All right. Shall we swing to the big one real story that we
Yes.
have?
Yes.
We should.
Big Brother's watching you. Huh.
Yeah. So over the past week or so, this has been coming out. Some 17 news organizations over the world, including The Wire in India and The Guardian in the US, and 15 others, have been slowly putting out this report involving the Pegasus spyware program, which basically is able to infect your phone or your mobile device with just one message. If you just get that message, you don't have to do anything. It's called a zero-click zero-click invasion or something. I'm forgetting the last word after the zero-click thing. Anyway, so basically what this does is you get this message and immediately they gain access to your camera, your microphone, all the chats and messages you've ever exchanged with anyone, all your emails, all anything. You can go to any aspect of any part of your phone and figure out any data that you would not like anyone else to basically know about you. And that is all done through 0 clicks through one message that you get. And there's nothing you can do about it. If you get that message, you're done. Now, it has come out that this software is sold by something called the NSO Group out of Israel. Okay. And the NSO Group are basically supposedly, they only sell this software to governments, to big governments in the world, to be able to weed out terrorist attacks, say, before they happen. Not as a means of spying on their own population.
This is why Hamas gets all those blank calls all the time. They're wondering, Hamas this side? Nobody's answering. Who is this? All the time. Who is this person? Sorry.
So it turns out this service is sold only to governments, but it just came out. That's what the report done by all these news organizations is, that this software, some 50,000 names were released, and from various other countries, some 50,000 names, out of which a lot of these turn out to be basically the governments of the world, it seems like, are using this software to spy on their opposition, activists and lawyers who speak against them, or turns out
occasionally your wife.
Our government, it seems like, at least at this point. So at this point, it seems like our government has been using this software, allegedly. Again, we don't know, because the government hasn't denied or accepted the whole thing. But they're saying we've been using it to spy on more than 40 journalists, some activists, lawyers, some party members of their own party, like one person who shifted sides from another party into the BJP. Yeah, and so people like Rahul Gandhi have been involved. People like Prashant Kishore, the campaign manager for the Trinamool Congress's Bengal elections, has been involved.
More than that, he's the man anointed. They're saying to revive the political strategy of all parties other than BJP. But anyway.
Yep. So he's involved. Then the founding editor of The Wire, Mr. Venugopal, if I'm not wrong, what's his name?
Siddharth was Siddharth and Siddharth. That was Vardarajan who's bugged.
Either way,
this is
either way. It's
NK Venu. Yeah. So a lot of people, a lot of names, and names are still coming forward. And this is like the biggest story that has come out in recent times. But another interesting thing before we get into the discussion, another interesting thing is that our mainstream news media is trying to totally avoid this topic, while smaller news outlets, independent news outlets, and even like local news outlets, and which are not the national news, are still covering it. But the big news is basically stuck on the Raj Kundra thing for like a long time. And it's bizarre, but yeah.
Because that'll bring India down. I mean, that'll just destroy the country. If somebody makes soft porn tapes. But this is not just India specific. It's done all over the world. Let's just be clear. I'm not trying to deflect blame here.
Yeah.
But let's face it, if you have the power to these resources and you're in control of something, you can be an MNC doing this as well. I mean, you're going to spy on the opposition, you're going to spy on the enemy, you're going to spy on the insecure members of your tribe. That make you insecure. So this is going to be damn tough to shut down. I don't see how if you have that option, people are going to use it.
What's the problem here? I don't see a problem. I see no problem.
Okay, no, you do see a problem. Of course,
I see the hard work. I want to take the side of the guys who are doing this, the Pegasus users. There's a lot of hard work which you're not looking at. To get a little bit of information, let's say from Rahul Gandhi, you've got to go through some ridiculous, putrid conversations about tennis or golf, or about where the hair was done last, or think about all that. You've got to sieve through all that to get the one thing which may or may lead to something. It may not even. So that's a lot of. Is it really worth it? I understand Hamas and all that. I totally understand. We're trying to find where they're trying to blow people up and all that. That makes sense. But other than that, it's just,
But it has so many consequences. Please go ahead, Nishant.
Okay. I was saying I have a very juvenile take on this, right?
Please. This is the place
this
for
national
Don't let Amit kill you. This is a lowbrow show. He by mistake opens his mouth and elevates it from time to time. We text him immediately. And Pegasus is there for us. Go on.
Yeah, I was saying, we all know at least one, if not more, of these Apple fanatic, like Apple makes this product and it's that, and the best security, the most secure fingerprint just licks your eyebrows.
In my house. Go on.
So that's gone.
That's gone.
At least they have to acknowledge that. That's true.
Yeah.
They had to acknowledge it, right? Apple had to say, okay, yes, it is possible for Pegasus to take over your phone. That
But
was kind of insane, right? No, but honestly, all seriousness, right. I mean, like, it is it is such a problem that this occurs, right? And the thing is that the way that the government has also kind of responded in terms of answering it, right, has also been like there's no unauthorized surveillance being done, and they use the word unauthorized. The challenge in India is that the authorization process is basically secretary 1 saying to secretary 2, chalo kar le, chalo kar lete. That's your
come on,
authorization process.
it's like an episode of
That's
Yes
the problem.
Minister. You can't hide
Huh?
behind words. I mean, these
No.
words make no sense.
Yeah.
Unauthorized,
Also,
authorized.
Yeah.
one of the names included is a Supreme Court judge. So the argument was that
No,
Supreme
it's not
Court
the
is the
Supreme. It's not the Supreme Court judge. It is the
Lawyer
woman who accused him of sexual
of
harassment,
sexual misconduct.
along
Yeah,
with
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
my bad.
10 other members of her
Okay.
family. And now
yeah.
this is
Oh no.
problematic from two perspectives, right?
Correct.
So the problem number one is, dude, somebody accused a Supreme Court justice of sexual harassment. We should not be kind of surveilling those people and kind of pushing them. Second problem to consider over here is, what if they are what if they are let's say, okay, I don't know that this is true. It probably, who knows if this is true, because the case was dismissed of the sexual harassment. But let's say there was proof of the sexual harassment during conversations that occurred. All of a sudden somebody has something on a fucking Supreme Court judge. That's insane.
Yeah.
It is
Well,
absolutely
it's
incredible
happened
that
in
this is.
America.
Yeah.
It's not
What?
the first
Really?
Supreme Court.
Well,
Yeah. What was that famous case? The African American judge. Come on,
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas.
Yeah, no, so he got accused of sexual harassment, but then given the time that it was, he got away with it and has been on the bench for the last 30 years, right?
I'm just
But
saying.
again, yeah, no, so, but I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, like, the idea that somebody could blackmail a Supreme Court judge in India is insane. Also, consider the amount of constant cases that the government has in front of the Supreme Court. This see, again, nobody denies the necessity of surveillance in certain circumstances. Nobody is saying that no surveillance no matter what, but there has to be a process to how surveillance is determined, which is more than two people in the executive branch saying to each other that yes, we should do this.
I think if you want to have surveillance, you should also allow match fixing. There's from the same body of work, as far as I'm concerned. You should let people fix
Cyrus,
the matches
can you
as
just
well, because you're sort of fixing everything through surveillance. And coming back
So,
to journalists being targeted, Silverie,
Cyrus,
Cyrus, can you just raise your mic a bit?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
the targeting the journalists. I don't know why it's a big deal. We don't need surveillance in India for journalists. You just put them in when you don't like them, or you just destroy their careers. It's done so
Fair
easily.
point.
Look at stand-up comedians who are mini journalists today because they're trying to make commentary on society, etc. Mr. Faruqi,
Yeah.
for example, has he works in very small places now, where you have to vet the audience. Literally, they have to do an interview with before coming in, so you know who they are. So these are small targets. I don't know what the big deal is that the government has to really look beyond. I mean, they have enough control right now that they need this fabulous spy device. I think it should be really
No,
kept
it's
for
like
international
I
issues
think,
and
yeah,
foreign
basically, I
relations.
think it's only because they thought they could get away with it and nobody would ever find out, because that's how this company is supposed to function. Is
So
they only sell it to government and they
there's
don't disclose who their
I'll
clients
also
are.
say this, right? There is a little bit of murkiness around where this list has come from. To kind of, like, be on the present a balanced view, right? I mean, like, while we think that this is insane and this should never happen, there is some murkiness around where this list has
I
come
think
from.
you guys have missed the point. They've done all this to bring down the evil empire of Raj Kundra Productions.
Mhm.
That's the reason why this has
Ki-
come into
See,
play.
this is the other thing, I mean, like, Cyrus, you just said this, but, like, in all honesty, like, the thing that the reaction, the statements, right, that are being made are that this is an international conspiracy to defame the Indian government prior to the monsoon session. I'm like, how do you say
Hmm.
something like that and expect anybody with half a brain to believe this, when this is something that is happening in, like it's happening all over the world, right? This is, I think there are like 29 governments implicated in this. It's not one government. It's like
Yeah.
most of the big governments that are
yeah.
democracies are implicated in this, with the exception of the US.
Didn't Mexico, was it Mexico that said El Chapo? I think the way they brought him down was a lot of that was Pegasus or some
Yeah.
similar spyware. But I think the other thing that was said was was that 45 other countries, whatever, are involved. Why are they only questioning us? And I'm like, who's they? People here are asking you. Forget surveillance. Like, we know this shit happens everywhere, right? I think what you said, right? There's a certain separation of powers. There's some maker checker balance, and this kind of blurs all those lines when you can start blackmailing and start getting leverage on a judge or things like that. Right? Then there's all kinds of conflict.
Nobody knows that that's what's happened, right? But the thing is that you can't have even the possibility of the appearance of that kind of thing having happened. How do you have faith in government?
I'm trying to find more positivity in all this. I think you're all being negative. I mean, look at it this way. We wanted Mumbai to become Shanghai. No, I'm just saying, and this is very like China-like practice.
This is very
so I think we're going the right direction. I don't think that it's all bad. So let's not, I mean, maybe the government is good and doing things for a noble reason. There's a certain noble welfare state plan that's going on that you've not understood. And maybe some of these guys are terrible who they're looking at. They may be sexual predators. Masked as journalists, one or two have been caught in the past. So more power. Amit, I think we should say this from time to time.
No, I think
because they may be listening.
Listen, how much on one hand, on the other hand have I done right now? I'm saying all this, but on the other hand, this, on the other hand, this, on the other. How much on the other hand I have to do?
People like Nishant on who are completely seem to be left leaning. We don't have a chance in hell, man. We need to get somebody from the other side.
No, I was just going to go. You see that saffron action figure back there? I was going to go pick that up, like waving
saffron action figure. One second, Baba Ramdev figure. What is this? What's going on?
Something like that. Japanese Baba Ramdev.
He wins in Tokyo. It's Ramdev. 2 pills. Oh, that's cheating. That should be allowed. Yeah.
Performance enhancement.
Also, isn't the existence of something like a software like this already really scary for everyone and anyone?
That's life because in technology.
Correct.
Listen,
but
very honestly. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, like just a couple of months back, we were having the whole discussion about WhatsApp or Signal, what should I use, Telegram, and none of that matters now because this thing exists. So
but
that
what
would not matter
at all to anyone. How are you going to police the tech? Who's going to police the tech from misbehaving? This is misbehaving,
right? We see. Here's the thing.
You've got to have some checks and balances from our side.
Systems are complex. Complex systems can be broken. That is the reality. The more complicated a system, the easier it is to break it. Right now, these apps, there you go. See how that broke? Because it's not attached to the wall.
I can't handle Edison and his bloody light bulb. I'm stuck with Edison and his light bulb. Don't you understand my problem? You've reached this tech which infiltrates and takes over your phone with a message that you don't want.
See, it's impossible when you have the more capable technology is, the more vulnerabilities it has. Right, and we want really capable technology, so vulnerabilities are going to exist. The thing that is problematic here, right, is this kind of Pegasus type software is extraordinarily expensive to make. Right, it's not easy to make, it's not cheap to make, it's extraordinarily expensive to make. Each country has paid this Israeli company in the millions of dollars for access to a system like this. This is not available to your average bad guy. Right, this is something that's only available to a nation state.
Maybe we got a discount because Israel, India, bhai is now the big one. Huh?
100%. Very close. And Russia is probably making their own. Right, so is China. They're also probably rolling their own. Right, it is. They're probably rolling their own when it comes to this kind of stuff.
That's exactly what they're saying. That the NSA group is just one such group that is making this software. There are probably hundreds, and we never even heard about them because they won't come to light till we find out.
Yeah, but they're probably not hundreds because again, it is extraordinarily expensive and complex to do this. Google, Microsoft, and Apple, right, who are the 3 biggest OS makers in the world right now at this point in time, all 3 of them spend a tremendous amount of time and energy on hunting this kind of stuff down and making sure that they can shut it down. Right, again, all of this is the reason why all this stuff is coming out, right, is because of the efforts of Microsoft, Google, and Apple. Because they are trying to kind of stop this. Facebook also has been like big on this, right? Because Facebook filed an actual case against the NSO trying to get them shut down because they're like, hey, dude, you can't fuck with my WhatsApp. Right?
Guys, so I've just got some breaking news though, which I want to share with you. The guy the government op who was working on Rahul Gandhi's phone and downloading the information and all, he's quit the job. He's gone. He couldn't take it anymore. Gone? Yeah. So please, don't. It's not easy. Yeah, you guys think you're going to find all kinds of information. You're also going to find disinformation, and that can be very horrible and take a long time to get out of your system. Shall we move to the AMAs, Silverie?
Let's do the AMAs.
This is because Nishant is on some other podcast from time to time. He's reading his phone or watching something on the side.
No, I'm
Uh,
reading the live chat. I'm reading the
Yeah,
live chat from this
all
stream.
of our live chat stuff is all Nishant stuff, right? We forgot to mention Nishant is not just the host of the podcast, the Triangle Office on the IVM Podcast Network, which is a great NBA podcast, but he also has the
Best ever.
most popular Telugu podcast out there.
on
Hey,
basketball.
British.
No, it's
No,
not
no,
on basketball.
I wish. No, it's
I mean, that's very
it's kind of
cheating. You switch languages, say the same thing. People
no,
get away with
Cyrus. This is either you like this or this will embarrass you. But
Yeah.
you remember how I told you I got into podcasting as a listener with Cyrus Says in another country, right? I was bored and music just wasn't cutting it. And then I thought, it'd be pretty cool if since lockdown, like last year, most of the friends hanging out and drinks on Saturday kind of ended. So we'd all just grab drinks, lonely, sad uncles, and sit and catch up on a Zoom call. I said, what if we start taping this and releasing them as podcasts? Because the conversations are hilarious. It's something like this. What's going on, some topical issue, whatever, 1 hour. I just caught on, and then we started live streaming. So we do like a 3-hour marathon stream every Sunday. And folks said, anyway, it's called TLV. Check it out if you guys are into
TLV.
Telugu podcasting. Yeah.
So we were the catalyst for the show in a sense. So we should get some equity here, yeah, Amit?
Yeah, absolutely. We make $20 per week. We're happy to share 20% of that.
Today's $20 can be tomorrow's 2 billion. I've heard too many stories of
Absolutely.
success like that. I don't want to, $20 means nothing today because that same guy can make so much later. It's not fair. Amit, let's take it. Drop the contract.
Yeah, we used to call it the Lunch Vodka, which became a little much, and it's not sponsor friendly. So it's
Lunch
not
Vodka. You've already got lots of sponsors, bro. We're looking at monthly vodka. But just check your phone. I sent you a message. Hopefully, we'll be able to check out all your details through that one message. To Pegasus.
I'm on it. I'm right on it.
What will North India do to the word Pegasus? Oh, Pegasus pe mila. Oh, Pegasus hai teri phone pe. Oh, Pegasus. I mean, why do we give them names? Why can they have names that are good for us? Pegasus is going to be a challenge. I think it's going
What
to be
is Pegasus? Pegasus is
It's a
it's
horse.
a
It's a
Greek
flying horse.
Horse, yeah.
It's a flying horse.
Yeah.
A famous
Yeah.
journalist who writes by the name Pegasus.
Son of
Horse Race.
Poseidon.
Nishant wants to
This has
answer.
to
His
be
arm
said.
is up. Bolo.
This has to be said.
Bolo.
For about half an hour, I've been struggling with this pun and how to make the connection, right? So Pegasus is a Greek mythical creature, a winged horse, and Perseus is the mythological guy that. So I was thinking there has to be a segue from Raj Kundra to somebody riding a winged horse. I was trying to make that connection. Like, who is this actress that is Perseus to Raj Kundra's alleged production of Pegasus?
Well,
Riding a
Perseus, the
winged
Greek
horse.
name is also Perseus, the Irani name. So you will have
Yeah.
already you're bringing it closer home
Madal.
before you know it. Yeah. Winged horse, your porn fantasies, little troubled, I feel. I'm not very comfortable with those thoughts. He gets really turned on to Nishant. Like, winged horse!
Mythology podcast, but most of that is porn. You can't help me. Most of mythology
That's
is porn.
what? No,
yeah,
don't
most
say
mythology is
these
porn.
things.
No,
Never
but
say
he's not
Greek.
wrong.
Greek
Greek and
not
Roman
us.
Greek and Roman mythology, right? I mean, like
It's all porn. It's all
yeah, I mean, like
Game of
Zeus
Thrones
fucks a
has
swan
defined
or
everything
something
for
like
us.
that, right? No, not a
Yeah.
swan. What was it? Zeus has sex with like a insect of some nature or something like that.
Yeah.
If you are
So
the god of
regularly,
all gods and you want to
Huh.
have a little fun, you own creation. You hold this against him, whether it's an
That
insect
is-
or not. That's his problem.
Well,
because he
I'm just like,
created
but I mean,
everything.
like, no, if I'm not mistaken, he's had sex with insect. He's had sex with goat. He's had sex with there was one other which was like insane, right? I mean,
So
like
clearly, to
I
be
know the
the
goat.
god of all gods, you need to have a great appetite. That's
you
for
do.
sure.
yes, you
But how
do.
do you? Now that you
God,
brought
I
it
hope
up,
I'm not
back
wrong
to the
about
Raj
this.
Kundra controversy, how does whatever have sex with something so small? Oh, that sounds terrible, Nishant. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So now that you brought it up, the Raj Kundra controversy.
No, no.
So that's a
Well, let's bury that because I believe that he's innocent until proven guilty. So since I'm friends with the lawyer, I think it's not right for me to speak and take a shot at someone. He'll have his day in court, hopefully tomorrow, from what I gather. Yeah,
tomorrow.
and we'll see what
Right.
happens. Pegasus may
So-
come through for him.
Listen, I found this article, and I'm just going to say this since we were talking about Zeus, right? These are the craziest thing the Greek god Zeus did to boink women and have children. He turned into a ray of sunshine to give a golden shower. He transformed into a swan because he wants to screw eagles. He changed into a bull to have sex with a lake. He
A lake.
morphed into a lake, Lake, lake. I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
The
He
question you have to
morphed,
ask is, go on.
he morphed into an eagle to man-nap and enslave a beautiful boy.
Okay.
Uh,
I think
then
Kevin
whether he's
Spacey.
homosexual or
This
not
is
is hardly
reverse
the
of Kevin
point.
Spacey.
After he's humping insects and goats and bulls and lakes, I mean, then
he
to come and tell me he likes boys, I mean, that's really not
he
going to throw us.
he changes his wife. He changes his mistress into a cow to hide her from his wife.
But this happens to a lot of people.
Yeah. Uh,
This is not an exceptional quality. Yeah.
no, but basically, there's no end to this stuff, right? I mean, I can keep going.
Well, I like his body of work, and I think he would struggle to get past the central government guidelines as far as India goes. But I'm
Uh-huh.
sure back in Greece or Mount Olympus or wherever he is, he'll be okay for now. Uh, why do we grudge him? He's a god of all gods. I think let him have fun as long as
Yeah,
it's
sure.
consenting. Isn't that our point? As long as the
There's
lake
a
said
lot
okay,
of there's a lot of no consent
Absolutely.
happening here. A lot of Greek mythology, the idea of
He's
consent is very
deceitful.
dodgy.
It's yeah. Like
Very
Cyrus, the
dodgy.
Greek gods were very Bill Cosby about it. Huh? Most of
Yes.
them were just
unnecessary. Nishant Boorla, very unnecessary. Below the belt, punch into the groin. That poor, where he's out. He's no longer. 1 second. We accept the judgment. The guy is not in jail anymore. He's a free man. He's been wronged. He's probably
Alleged.
innocent. He's innocent of at least 2 out of the 74 victims, from what I gather. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Shall we do the AMAs? It's already.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
we already made him.
this
Second
is
one
already-
comes
I
in
should pay
from
attention to the show. Go on.
this one comes in from the first one comes in from Harvesh Kasad. He says, "Hello Nishant and Amit. Do you think the respect for Giannis has increased because he single-handedly took the team to championship with support cast being inconsistent throughout? Your thoughts?"
Obviously, right?
I would agree with that sort of. Chris Middleton was fantastic. Rue Holiday
Yeah.
was amazing on defense. So I would sort of increase. So what I would say is that he didn't single-handedly take them to a championship because honestly, the other team was really good too, right? I mean, like Phoenix was a good team.
Sure.
So yeah, but I mean, like I think his stature increased because of the series he had, right? I think that he just
Yeah.
was insanely good.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
also.
think. Yeah, go on.
Sorry,
Jeff.
Silverie, just not to confuse you, but here Phoenix is just a mall. There it's this huge NBA team. So just don't get
It's
thrown.
actually a city which has an NBA team.
There you go. It's a city with which has an NBA team. That's
Yes.
and Milwaukee is also a local area in America. Yeah, so just to clarify, we have to
Giannis-
educate as we
Giannis,
go
I think-
along. You guys have just galloped away like Zeus and the lake. Hang on, give us a chance to also catch up.
Yes, I shall.
Okay,
I shall educate.
Guys, getting back to the question for a second. The guy is your MVP. He's won you the NBA, the title, the IPL, if you will, of America. And won't his respect go up? I mean, how can his respect not go up? Because the guy who wins you the title, that's the guy. It's not the guy on paper or statistics. It's the guy who wins.
You know, the NBA has this. There's this constant debate, right? They call it about rings culture. Is winning the championship the only measure at which you can be great? So, for example, Charles Barkley never won a championship, right?
Iverson.
Chris Iverson never won a championship. Chris Paul, who just lost right now, never won a
Spud.
championship.
Did Spud win?
Spud Webb,
No,
I
no.
don't know.
Wait,
I have
don't
no
think he did.
idea. He was such a
Atlanta, right? He
marginal
played for
player
the
that it's
Hawks.
possible
How
that
dare
he
you?
did.
He was a shorty, one of my tribe. Show some
Yeah.
respect. Yeah.
No, but he played for Atlanta, but he played for also like Sacramento. He played for a bunch of teams. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He
there's no
scored around.
correlation with greatness and actual winning of medals and laurels and trophies.
Yeah.
Sorry?
So I think the question, the angle that the question is coming from is do you think this is why his respect went up? Of course, he won, so his respect is going to go up. And I think so. I think he had kind of garnered this reputation of a group stage phenom and then a knockout dud because people can it's just the one formula: build a wall, don't let him get to the basket, and it's over. I think he definitely kind of exercised those demons, but. Yeah, I guess. But Amit, won't you say Eric Bledsoe to Drew Holiday is
Big
the
improvement.
upgrade of the year? Yeah,
Big
that's
improvement.
it.
Big improvement. I mean, like no question
Hey,
about it, right?
Silverie, Do you realize they're not even talking to us anymore?
Yeah.
They're marginalized. They're the minorities of podcasts. We're on the fringe. This is not fair. Suddenly Nishant is like, hey, Amit is hey, Nishant. I mean, we don't exist. Except for the
I
Raj
can.
Kundra moment, we've just been completely marginalized.
We can bring it all back. So from Giannis to another Greek god Zeus to Pegasus to Raj Kundra, we can tie up the whole episode. There's like
And Giannis likes the pond right outside.
Cyrus, there's another AMA question in here. I'm going to ask it to you, so you please answer. It's a basketball AMA question. Which is the best? What's the best dynasty? Like multiple championship.
LA Lakers.
Asked by Artik Shetty. Artik Shetty asked the question.
Is it LA Lakers?
I mean, it's up to you. It's your choice, right? It's LA Lakers, it's
I don't know
Chicago
now,
Bulls,
but-
it's Golden State Warriors. It's
I'll go with Lakers.
You go with Lakers?
Golden State Warriors is now. Lakers is from whenever. Chicago
Well,
Bulls is
which
90s.
one?
And
Lakers have had like 3
No, no,
dynasties.
they've had a bunch.
Put them all together.
So, you can't. They're not, the players are not common, right? When
Magic
you go
Johnson
from like
era, the Magic Johnson
so
era.
even before that they have, no? So they have the
Before that-
dynasty before Magic Johnson. Then they
I
had
mean,
the
before
Magic
that, I
Johnson
didn't know Amit
dynasty.
Doshi, so I didn't have to have basketball conversations
That
of
is fair
inconvenience
point.
from time to time on podcasts.
That's
So,
a fair
yeah.
point. But then
Okay,
and
so
then they
I've
had the Kobe
answered.
Shaq, and now they have the LeBron
Yeah.
dynasty, I guess. So there are 4
Okay.
dynasties.
You buried me with your bloody dynasties. Now give me the damn answer and let's end this bloody
Well, no,
show.
I'm just curious. I mean, like, I mean, like, again, you don't follow basketball day to day, but you follow the overall kind of, this is in the ether. I like the Michael Jordan teams, or I like the Steph Curry teams.
Right.
You have that overall kind of sense.
Yeah,
So
so
that's what this
champions
question
in
is.
any sport, if you follow any little bit of sport, the champions stay in your mind and
Yeah.
they become iconic. And then after some time, you know who they are. So like James, King James today, or Steph Curry, well, up to
Right.
let's say 2 seasons ago. So those names stay. But I
Yeah.
think he had a longer run, Magic Johnson. Longer
Magic
run in
Johnson,
terms of
10 years,
dominance.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He had
the
it
LA
10,
Lakers
10, 11 years.
at that bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So
They
I'm
won,
going to stick with
how
that.
many they won? I think they won 5, right? Magic Johnson won
Yeah,
5.
they won 5.
In your
Yeah.
face, Nishant.
Yeah.
5.
No, but no, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm all good. But
Yeah.
but I think
So
Jordan.
was
I think
Zeus.
the Bulls.
Zeus liked his legs. Sorry.
I think
Silverie,
Bulls are good to
I'm
beat.
not the only virgin on the podcast. Silverie, favorite NBA team of all time, generation, dynasty?
I only know like 2 or 3 of them. I'll just say LA
So-
Lakers.
Okay.
You're repeating the answer. I mean, how
I mean,
dumb
yeah,
is
what
that?
else? What else?
Like,
I
you're
don't
like-
know anyone.
You're like the guy who works with Edison. You know, like you don't
I know there is a team called the Wizards.
There
that's,
is.
Washington.
that Michael
used to
Jordan
be-
played for a while.
Yes,
Yeah,
it used to be
it
called
was-
the Bullets.
Oh,
Now
really?
it's called the
Okay.
Wizards.
So I kind of like that. So I'll go with that just because the
Okay.
name. I have no idea
They
what
have
they
not
are.
won. I don't think they've ever won a
Trash.
championship. So they are not a
Trash,
dynasty.
I'm always on the underdogs. Yes.
Not underdogs. They don't exist now. They're gone forever. Right?
No,
Not
they're
to
still
be
there. I mean, like they're the Wizards
They're
now. They used to be the
there.
Bullets. Now
Yeah,
they're the
they're there.
Wizards. They have
Oh.
Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal.
Quite ironic that the Wizards only disappear. Can you believe it? Okay, come on. Let's take a last one. My
Let's
Chinese
take
food
the
has
last
come.
one. Yes.
Not
Alright,
Chinese. I
cool.
shouldn't say that.
Sorry, I'll just answer the question. My favorite dynasty of all time would probably be the Golden State Warriors.
But
I
they're much
cannot.
less in time.
Well, they played. They were a dynasty for a good 5 years, 5-6 years, right? And I
Yeah,
mean, like they'll
yeah,
come
yeah.
back next year
When you look
again.
at the Magic Johnson, the Chicago
So-
years or the LA years, they're longer, no? Aren't they?
So
I mean,
for me, Chicago is the same problem as the other Eastern teams. I can't root for them when the
the
Sixers were good.
racism of geography.
The
yeah,
Sixers were decent back then. If the Sixers sucked, then that's a different thing, right? But the Sixers were good back then, so I can't root for Chicago. I could never root for Chicago in the finals. I almost always rooted for the team playing against them.
So the Steph
Uh,
Curry years is what you're talking about.
So Steph Curry years are probably my.
Nishant, what is yours? The Lakers, you said.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up. That was my intro to sports, the Shaq Kobe Lakers.
Shaq,
But
Kobe
I think
Lakers.
the Bulls is hard to beat because, like, for an 8-year stretch, they were unreal. 6 championships, and the 2 years in between was when Jordan decided to go play
But they
baseball and
still
just screw
got to
around.
like the conference finals
Correct.
on both of those years.
Correct.
I
Yeah,
think one of
yeah,
those years.
exactly.
One of those years they got into the conference finals. One they didn't.
Correct.
Silverie,
Yeah.
would you like to get up and leave? Because that's the feeling I'm getting.
No, it's fine.
Hey, I can't help it, man. I like basketball and I don't get to talk
No,
about it.
listen,
all the
all
time.
sport is good. I think world should only talk about sport. It'll be a better place.
Absolutely.
And I'm really glad my son's got into it or whatever his group has got into
Yeah.
it because I think basketball is one of those sports. Once you get into it, you can't get out of it. Am I right?
It's
I
very
think
high
so.
tempo, so it's addictive. Yeah, it's very high
It's a
tempo.
bit like Zeus
Oh,
and the
he's
Lakes
going to-
and Zeus. And the,
He's going to Toronto, right?
He's going to Ontario. Yeah.
Ontario. So
Well,
that's
close enough.
London.
Raptors.
He's going to London. The town is called London, by the way.
Oh, so that's
it's
not far.
terrible.
That's actually that's far. That's not far from Toronto at all.
But it's sad. Within conversation, you go to his son. He's gone to London, and oh, London, and not that London.
No, but then it's actually no. Array, what that London? You went to the real. You went to the far away London.
Amit,
You
only
go
you'll
to
be
South
impressed
London.
because he's got an NBA team. Okay, nobody else
No,
cares.
yeah, dude. I mean, like seriously, who gives a shit? Canada versus England right now? Who has that argument? Who do you really think there are people who have that argument? I don't think
I
there are
don't know
people who have
because
that argument.
Silverie's cousins are everywhere. Half of Canada is Punjabi, half of England is Punjabi. So I'm not bothered. He'll be
Hey,
safe.
Amit,
Yeah.
but Canada versus England is an argument in the royal family now because they've the exits have moved to Canada, haven't they?
That is right. They have, haven't they?
Also,
Meghan
there's always that
Markle and
British
Yeah, they
thumb
both.
rule over the French issue in the background as well. So yeah, there's a lot we can start.
yeah.
We Indians should start more internecine wars. Make
Yeah.
them fight. Let them know what it's like to be us. What the hell? Okay, guys, are we done?
Just do the last question.
Charm-
No, we didn't do the
Yeah,
question.
should we do? Yeah,
third
let's do
question,
this
yeah.
one more. This one comes in from Pradeep Pillai. He says, "Hi Cyrus, Amit, Nishant, and Antariksh. Can you draw any parallels between Pegasus, Snoopgate, and Edward Snowden files? Is cyber warfare more potent than weaponized warfare, in your opinion?"
In a way, it is. Knowledge is power. Information is everything. But yeah, isn't it the same thing? You're snooping on people. You're trying to gain information for your so-called greater good. Everybody talks about greater good. I love that phrase, especially in political circles when they do these kind of things. I don't know. I don't think it'll ever stop. I mean, how can you stop a power figure from not using this kind of information to control knowledge and clean knowledge from people around? It's never going to happen.
Impossible.
They did say this, by the way, when I was watching some news report on the Pegasus thing only, and they said, "Cat, the existence of something like the Pegasus makes it so much more difficult for a dictatorship to become a democracy if they ever want to do that, because already the dictators are involved in trying to control their population and keep them like being aware of how many of the population are on their side and how many aren't.
But
and all that
which
stuff.
dictatorship wants to
This will-
become a democracy anyway? What
I mean,
we're talking about
people
is
would, at
democracies
some point-
pretending not to be dictatorships anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
we're seeing more of.
That,
Right?
that
And I think
also is part of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the bigger danger, right? Because again, the NSO only sells to democratic governments, right? Benevolent governments or what have you. All bullshit, whatever, right? But that's
Yeah.
what they're saying that they do. So it's a really good, like even this, right? This is a complex issue over here, right? Can you draw any parallels between Pegasus and Edward Snowden? There are parallels to be drawn, but at the same time, there are clear differences as well, right? Because the snooping that happened in the US over the Edward Snowden stuff, right? It was probably fucked up that it happened, but the truth is that it did happen with proper government oversight. Okay,
Right.
probably should not have happened. Probably we would not like it to happen. But again, the thing that we were talking about, like there being there's a judicial court, what's called a FISA court, who was issuing warrants for certain kinds of surveillance, right? And so the executive is requesting, the judiciary is granting, right? And Congress is reviewing. Over here, we
Sorry, Amit, you went silent.
It doesn't work. The right to privacy has to be insurmountable. It just doesn't work. It's just wrong on every level. And I think but there's a good point here, which is we are still not North Korea in that sense, because in North Korea he can kill you for no reason. Here now they're finding a reason. At least they snoop on you, they find a proper reason, and then they kill you. So you have that to take to the grave. That okay, maybe I'm a little anti-government, so that was the reason. So we're still
But
one step ahead of
also
some of the dictators.
If they find any evidence that could get you prosecuted, is that evidence admittable in court or
Depends,
not?
no?
It's their courts. That's the whole
See,
thing.
I mean,
They
like
take everything.
rules. It depends. See, again, when you're looking at countries which are doing this, right? Do you really think they give a shit about rules of evidence?
That's
Right? I mean, like
exactly.
it's just
It's
this stuff
theatre,
is
brother.
all.
You have to present everything in a theatrical way where it appears to be. That's all. It just has to appear to be. There's no question
Also,
of reality.
the number one kind of plot point of most cop shows, right? Oh, we got this evidence illegally. Let's figure out a way to make it legal.
Yeah.
Right. So, Bill, let's find out how
Coming
can we
back to
figure
Raj
out
Kundra.
this.
Coming back to Raj Kundra. You hit the nail on the head. And that is why he is not guilty. You see?
Have
things
you
are
ever met
not what
Raj
they
Kundra?
seem.
Sir,
Many
have you ever
times.
met Raj Kundra? Yeah.
I've auditioned in shorts.
Oh, wow. So cool.
Okay, guys, I'm getting fired by my daughter. The Chinese
Okay.
food has come. I will say bye to Nishant and congratulations to the Milwaukee lovers across the world, like Amit and Nishant, who adopted the team. not their first choice.
We're
But, you
okay
know,
with the team. I would have been happy with Phoenix
Yeah.
as well. I was actually, the thing I was rooting for most was a 7-game series. That's the thing I was rooting for most yesterday. Give me a game
I think
7.
it's too much. They should play just one game. There's no need to play 7. What do you think, Silvery? I will hijack the entire podcast because of
Yeah.
one of playing again and again. Who plays a sport with such a big ball? I mean, what kind of handicap is that? I mean, the ball should not be. She's putting the lights off. I have to go. The government is watching. Big Brother is watching. The messages are coming. Bye, everybody. See you. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.